Hello, thank you for joining me. My name is Julia Dietmar, and today we're talking about customer retention. In this session, I am going to offer you a very simple framework that will help you immerse yourselves in the world of your customers, help you understand what they really value and how to deliver that value in a way that exceeds their expectations and creates a long-term customer for your business.
How to think like your customers. The framework that we're going to discuss today will help you plan your product in a way that really creates customer value and will help you think like your customers. What creates retention? Depending on the nature of your business, you might approach retention as preserving a customer, or you might approach it as creating more engaged customer that comes back to purchase more or to use additional services from your company. In either case, your main goal will be on creating customer value. And so in today's session, and the framework that we're going to discuss will show how to build products that offer real value and ensure that your customers really stick with your business and do not leave you for your competitors. We have all heard this question: what is better than acquiring one new customer? And the answer isn't acquiring two new customers, it's actually retaining an existing one. We have all heard statistics that retaining an existing customer is much cheaper than acquiring a new one. Gartner is telling us that new customer acquisition can cost up to 25 times more than retaining an existing customer, and just a 5% increase in customer retention can increase profits by as much as 125%. What do your customers want? If you're selling products or services to other businesses, then you are dealing with customers that want to accomplish all they can with the resources that they have available, or to maximize the value that their unit or their department is able to create in any given period of time. Basically, they want to leverage all available resources to pursue and achieve their goals and their objectives. And if your product allows them to do so, then that's where you are creating business value for them. So how do you develop a product that provides true value for your customers? You really first need to understand and very clearly define who your customer is, and then take a walk in her proverbial shoes to understand three things. And this framework basically talks about these three things: jobs that she does, her pains, and the gains she's looking to get from using your product. So one thing that is very, very important to remember when creating value for the customer is that the true value defines how your product or service relieves pains and creates gains for your customers. At the end of the day, customers really care about the value that is provided to them. And so when we created our product, we determined that the major pains when listing products on the web store and manually creating product attributes were that it was taking too long, people were making mistakes, and the data was not always consistent. And so the tool created gains for the customer, where it automated the process and allowed for quicker, more accurate, and more consistent data being created for larger number of products and with more attributes. Plus, additionally, it freed up human resources to work on other more meaningful tasks, thus kind of fulfilling the social jobs for our customers. When we talk about value, especially when it comes to customer retention, we need to also remember how customers perceive that value, which means that you should be communicating the value of your product or service very clearly and regularly. The way to do it could be in a form of weekly or monthly report, or it could be analytics section inside your SaaS product. Whatever it is, it should very clearly demonstrate gains. And of course, you need to be convinced yourself that your product is providing real value. And you want to understand how your customers are using it and where improvements could be made. So measuring and monitoring is very important. And there are many tools out there that help you do just that. My favorite, and the one we use at View.ai, is this tool called Oric. It lets us create events, define funnels, look at heat maps, launch a survey, and one of my most favorite features is the one that lets me actually observe behavior of my customers on our site. This is a video of actual customer sessions, which I can replay. And it shows me replays of what users do when they come to the tool. I can see where they're coming from, which countries, what features they're used, how much time they spend on a task. This tool actually helped us uncover a couple of major usability issues, but also provided an insight into what other features we could add and how we could shape the product to be a lot more valuable. So by kind of observing how your customers are using this tool, this is definitely something, there are definitely a lot of insights that you can gain from just those kind of observations. It's also very good idea to ask your customers for feedback right when they're using your product. They're in the moment, they're experiencing it, and more likely than not, they will give you some really good feedback. And it can be a free-form text, or it could be multiple choice questions. It's really up to you, as long as the answers are meaningful and you can use them to improve value of for your customer, or even you can use this to figure out what language is to speak to your customer, in a sense this what would be the best messaging for marketing these tools for new customers. So using your existing customers, how would you talk about this tool for attracting your new ones? And then, of course, after getting this feedback, you will iterate, you will build new features, or you will improve the experience, you will measure and observe, you will ask for more feedback, and this will be a kind of an iterative process that will lead to create a better value for your customers. Now, do remember that the value to your customer comes only from their desired outcomes and results. You could have the best technology under the hood, you could have the most sophisticated tools and engineers working on this, but unless the customer perceives that value and looks at your product or service in terms of their desired outcomes and results, it's not going to be a success. So this is a very important thing to keep in mind when figuring out what to build next. And future improvements in your products should be focused on investing in desired gains. When building your roadmaps, think about, will this feature exceed customer expectations and increase value for them? Is it going to do it for only one customer who asked for it, or is it going to do it for all of my customers? Do we think that it will do it, or do we know? And you can, of course, validate it by, again, launching surveys, observing customers, maybe creating a beta customer group with the purpose of creating value for all of your customer base. So in conclusion, how we're when building products for the purpose of retention, we really need to focus on customer value. In order to figure out what value is, we need to clearly define who is the customer, what are her jobs, what are her pains, unwanted outcomes, obstacles, and risks, what gains is she hoping to get from using our product or service. Is core of my product features focused on fulfilling her functional job with required and expected gains? Do I communicate value clearly? Do I provide weekly or monthly reports or an analytics section on my site that clearly demonstrates gains? And do I have a way to measure, observe, and ask for feedback? And finally, are the features and improvements on my roadmap focused on eliminating pains and or creating desired gains?